Hi, this is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group. And guess what? It's time to start a new journal. Yay! This one's going to be a book. And here's some of the stuff I have set aside to use. We're going to be using a Victoria Designs kit. It's book 2 in my fairy series, and it's called Spring Fairies. Now, of course, you don't have to use a Victoria Designs kit. You can use whatever kit you want. Maybe another one that has fairies in it, or spring themed, or anything along those lines. And because I know some of you don't like the prices on the Victoria Design kits, but I love them, and occasionally I will splurge on one, and this Spring Fairies is one of those. Now I'm going to use some lace. I've got some stuff set aside, but there's no lace sitting there because I need to coffee dye some more lace in the pieces that I think I'm going to use for this. So it's on the way, so I haven't had a chance to coffee dye it yet. But I do have some flat back pearls set aside. I have some eyelash trim set aside for under the words and things like that. Probably not a whole lot, you know, in the images themselves. I've got my green thread, my spring colored thread to sew the book together. I've got some spring flowers, and probably for the cover. And then I've got some of this great lace, or actually it's leaf trim, and it's very soft. It's like silk. And I got it at where did I get it? I think I might have gotten it at Temu, but I might have gotten it at Ally. I'm not sure. I don't remember which one I got it at, but it's available in at both shops. Okay, so let me set this stuff aside. We're going to go through the kit really quick. And the reason we're going to go through it really quick is because Victoria Designs always has some sort of a flip through of their kits. So we're not going to take a whole lot of time. Let me move my stuff out of the way here. Take a whole lot of time going over it because it's already available to you somewhere else. So this is the Fairies pages. And you'll notice everyone has a little mark down here, and once again that's just for my printing reference, so that when I put them back in the printer they're right side up when they come back out with a picture on the back. Okay, so they're very, very pretty. Little fawns and fairies. There's little bunnies and squirrels. There's another fawn. There's birds, butterflies. I'll probably get out my box of butterflies, which has some butterflies that I've already glossy accented. And I may do some of that in this book. I'm not sure. There are a lot of images. There's a beautiful little squirrel with long ears. I love this image right here. Thinking of using it as the cover, but I do want a cover that I can add some ephemera to, and so I'm afraid that may not work for that, but I do love this page. Okay, I've also bought a 4-kit set that's all nature related, and I may do one of those next after this for my own personal project. You know, the ones that take 10 or 15 videos. I'm not sure how big this one's going to be as far as video wise, but I've got 15 videos set aside, the space in my schedule. As you guys know, I schedule out 3 months ahead. That gives me time on the weekends to schedule my unboxings and tutorial demonstrations, whatever you want to call them, for the different, I love this page too, for the different companies that like for me to do unboxings for them. Look at those birds. Beautiful. A lot of writing pages in this kit, which is good. Things for us to decorate. This is a nice backing page. I have to be careful. For some reason, my printer wants to print upside down no matter which way I put them back in the printer. There's 24 pages for the book. There's 24 pages, 20 pages plus one freebie for the backing papers. I like to find some that we can write on as well. This one's gorgeous. Probably can't use it as is, but I'm planning on cutting these out as cards and then using this large one as a writing card. I'm pretty sure we can write on that. I might use this for a backing paper on some, especially envelopes and things like that. And this one too, probably for envelopes. I may print some of these out at 5x7 and get 2 on a page to get them about the size of our book, which is 8.5 by 5.25. I mean 5.5. Here's another nice backing page that we can write on. I don't know about adding a tan page to this, but I might out of my blank page folder with all these coffee dye images and stuff. So I may do that. I may add some coffee dyed papers to this as well. This is one that I love, but I will probably cut these out as little tags. Here's another pretty backing paper. This one I may cut up into washi stripes or border stripes. This one's beautiful. I'm trying to keep these all facing the same direction when I take them off the pile. This would make a beautiful cover, but it is awful large. I love this one. Could cut it down into quarters and make writing cards out of them, and keep this as some sort of a belly band for a card or something. I'm just giving you some ideas that you can use for these full-size pages. These would make great backing pages. This is for envelopes probably. If you were using a black pen, you could write on this one as well. So I'm going to go through the pages and decide what I'm going to put on the back of them. I've got a lot of ideas, but now this would work for a front and back cover if you wanted to cut it like here and cut it in half, but you've got the word springtime cut in half. So have to think about that one. Here's another pretty backing paper. And another one in the same color with a different fairy, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have a fairy, and this one does. This one's gorgeous. That's why I hate to use the tan, the coffee dyed, because some of these are gorgeous, but you know, to put them on the back of writing cards is kind of hard because you know you can't write on them. This one you can write on. It might be one that I turn into a 5x7. Here's the ephemera. Now, this is great. The fairies are a little large for me. Oh, also on these, I left the borders on, and I actually turned the fit to page off because you do lose a little bit of the border. And some of these little flowers and stuff, I wanted to keep the size of the flowers. And so I did leave the borders on. So yes, I have to cut the borders off of all of these after I print them on the back. The same with the book pages. The ephemera, I did the same so that they were closer to the original size. But these are a little large to put on the pages. So unfortunately, I'll probably have to reprint these. Is it 1 page or 2? I swear that's 2 pages. Oh, it's not. It's only 1 page. The backing papers and the writing papers I printed on 65-pound cardstock. These are printed on 110. And they all have a little bit of a tan border around them, so I'm hoping my scan and cut will detect those. Here's some nice cards and some words. I keep thinking there's 2 pages. There is on this one. I love these writing cards. Lots of stamps. Lots of little envelopes. Some more cards. 2 pockets. I was complaining to my friend that there wasn't enough pockets, but now that I'm looking at it, I realize there are a lot more pockets than I thought. Lots of good words in a good size. 2 more writing cards. Here's a really cool pocket. I might make a template out of this one so we can use this shape on other pockets throughout the book to make the theme cohesive. I'm thinking we might do 3 signatures, and then there's a possibility that we would do 4. Here's 2 more pockets. To do a 4 signature book, I'm going to have to do a signature off camera. File folders, which each one would be good as a centerpiece in a signature. And 1 more with words and fairies, writing cards, tickets, and 1 more with the same and a long pocket here. Okay? Alright, so that's it for the kit and the items that I'm probably going to be using with the kits. It's going to take me a while to go through these papers and stuff, but I wanted to get this recorded before I did any kind of printing on the back or, you know, stuff like that. And, yeah, so I decided that I would do this part of the video now and then record the first part of us making the pages later and splice these little puppies together. Alright, well, I'll see you in just a second for you, and probably a couple days for me. I'm not sure that you guys realize how much prep work I do before I start a project, but in a project like this, there's quite a bit. So I will see you then, and I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. It has been a couple of days of some serious work. I'm sure that you guys know about prep work. Excuse me, all of a sudden I can't talk. Alright, maybe some pop will help. And I've ended up with these different things. Now this I've already decided is going to be page 1, so I went ahead and labeled it. But this is what I ended up with. I ended up with, there was a page that was one of the 8.5 by 11s, and it was just this. And I couldn't figure out how to use it. So I cut it into thirds. I didn't go ahead and cut it into cards because I wasn't sure if maybe I'd want to use 2 together on a page and then they'd all be separate, whatever. So I just cut it into thirds. This page I cut in half. Oops, it was like this. Looks like there should have been a third piece. And I ended up making a mistake. I cut this a little crooked, so I cut the words off. Then, clip these back together. Those are my cut pages. Then these are images that I printed out of the 8.5 by 11s, and I printed 2 5 by 7s, so that gave me 4 cards. Then I cut this page in half, but not exactly in half. That way I can use these as cards, or use 2 of them as a pocket, and then I could use this top piece as something, but it would still be intact. And that's what I did for that. So these are all off-size things. I guess I should put this with my cut pages, huh? These are my custom size cards. Then I think I ended up with, there were 2 cards that were smaller that came with the kit that were those 2 pages, and so I've got that too. Then these are my full page images, so the ones like this that we're going to use just like that, so we'll use them as our papers for different pages. I love that one. Okay. Then I ended up with the writing papers that were just the blank. Now I did cover the backs, so the backs of the writing cards could end up being the fronts. Okay. These are all of the pages. Since I cut them in half, I have approximately 40 of them for us to choose from for our papers, for our pages. Then these are the 8.5 by 11s. Now this one I didn't cut because it can be cut in half and used this way. Oh, that won't work, will it? Because it would have to be, yeah, that would work. And then use this half as well. Yeah, that's right. Into 2 different parts. Okay, but I didn't cut it in half because I didn't need to cut it exactly in half. And in fact, we're going to use part of this in just a minute. And this one is the same way. Then there's this one. We went over all these. Now, I think what we'll do for what we have coming up, we're going to end up mostly using these. So we'll leave these out. I haven't decided on the exact papers yet. We'll set all this other stuff to the side for right now, all of these. Then I also ended up with all of this ephemera. We've got our file folders. We've got these stamps, and I left them in the groups that they were in. Okay. Now you had to use the funny scissors to cut those apart. My Scan and Cut didn't really want to catch the edges because they were tan. Then I've got all my fairies. A couple of them I have to erase the pencil from around them because I had to draw around them in pencil for my Scan and Cut. You get flowers and butterflies and things like that. All of these we're going to use triple thick on. So I'm going to set those aside and work on those. So like I said, it takes several days before I even get started with these videos for you guys. Or even for a book for myself, which I don't get to make anymore. I don't have time. These are all my words. These are smaller ephemera. Oh, here it is. These are the pockets. And my Scan and Cut kind of ate them up because the gusseted part of the pocket wasn't dark enough, except for on that one. So what I'm going to do is I will just use them as flat pockets. Okay, we've got our little envelopes. We've got our cards. We had 2 pages of these cards. And I've got them all sorted. I sort them as I take them off the scan and cut. So if you're just cutting them out manually, don't just put them all on a big pile. Sort them out. Like these are all the big pieces of paper, the big cards. These are the kind of medium cards. These are the strips. You see what I mean? This is the smaller ephemera. These are all the labels. And so I've got everything sorted out so I can find it. And all the pockets are paper clipped together. And then all the words go in here. I have no idea how it worked out that these all fit together. These two, well, they're drawer organizers for a pencil drawer. This one is the same thing, but I have no idea where it came from. So I ended up with 4 containers of ephemera. Then I have these 3 large file folders that we will I'm thinking of making a small journal to go with the book. Or even a small journal for the center of the book. I'm not sure which. But, or we could put one in each signature. I printed these on the backs. So I have to switch these around like so. So the different colors are not, or the same colors are not together. Okay. We'll put some of the words on here. There's lots of words and phrases. Okay, so we've got that. So now we're back to these. No, we're not. Not yet. Not yet. We thought we were. All right, so I was looking at the inks, and I didn't do the bundled sage testing because I know what color it is. And we're going to use that. It's a very light green. So we'll use that on some stuff. I don't know if you can even see it on camera. Sometimes you even have to do it twice. But it's a really pretty light green. So we may use that around some of the ephemera where we don't want a dark color. We also have our Victorian Velvet. I wanted to use Worn Lipstick, but it was too pink. So we have, I tested these, but I'll show you again. This is the Victorian Velvet. Can you see that? And this is the pink on our papers. It matches almost perfectly. So those are the 2 colors we're going to use along with Vintage Photo. We're going to use Vintage Photo around the outside of the papers because they're darker. They've got this wood going on. So we'll use the Vintage Photo for that. Now, if you're going to use the triple thick, which is more of a glaze than glossy accents, where glossy accents kind of makes the picture look raised up. If you use too much glossy accents in an area, it will wrinkle it. The triple thick, you can use it and it will be really thick. But I like to what they call overwork it, which means spread it too thin, because that just makes like a sheen or a little bit of a shine to whatever it is that I paint. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use this. This is peel and stick or whatever that saran wrap stuff is. And I use that so that my lid does not get stuck to the threads. Okay, so then I only have to open it halfway. And I've got all this in here. So now it dries fairly quick when you're putting it on thin. I've got just a regular paintbrush. You could use a one size smaller, but I've been able to use this okay. The dog upstairs is like howling, and and then barking. So you just stunk it in there like you would paint, and then you just paint it on. So we're just going to put it on, just put it on the area, of course, you want the shine on. I'll bet you wouldn't be able to hear that. It's too funny. It seems like when I start to record, that's when they start to make noise. Normally Oz does not bark at them, but he just barked. So we'll have to see. This is a little bit big. Oz, no barking, bud. That dog upstairs is howling, and the howling is getting him going. A lot of times when they start barking, we have new dogs upstairs or new neighbors or new something. And when they're barking, he doesn't really, react. But this howling is new. The people that own them egg them on. Okay, so that's one little fairy done. We're going to do the other little fairy. See, a brush like this is good when you've got these larger areas. And I don't like having two brushes out for this at the same time. Her dress looks like a little flower. This is going to be funny when I play this back to edit it. I don't know why I have trouble saying the word edit along with another word like edit it or edited it. I sound like that howling dog. It makes no sense whatsoever. And there's a little flower here, so I'm going to go past her wing, and you'll notice it is kind of wrinkling a little bit, but when it dries, it will go back flat. So I'm going to go up out of her wing a little bit and catch that flower. And I'm going to try to catch this little ribbon. Get them kind of a clump of stuff off the brush and then go back after the ribbon. Okay, now that we've done the fairies, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the flowers. Now, there are a lot of flowers on this page. However, they're not really a difficult shape to paint. So you just go on like that until you get the page done. So that didn't take very long, and I got all those done. But I got kind of outside the flower a little bit. When it's wet, you can kind of go back and wipe it with your finger a little bit if you get it like a clump outside of your image. You can also just dot it on for these smaller flowers. So I'm just kind of dotting, wiping off most of it. And then I'm just kind of dotting it on there. Now, oops, there's some more right here. And these smaller ones. So I'm just going to kind of dot it on. I'm doing the ones in the center first. And I'm working my way out. That way you don't put your fingers in it when you don't mean to. So I'm pretty sure you could leave a fingerprint. Now, I'm not sure how much I'm going to do on each of these papers that are going to be the pages. If I do every single one, it's going to take a long time for me to make this book. However, it will be very, very pretty. I'd like to use some lace, but I'm not really sure where. Maybe on pockets. You know what I mean? And see what that looks like. And then, okay, so now we've got all the little pink ones done. So now we're going to tackle these bigger ones. And these are just as easy as the little ones. You just need a little more stuff on your brush. Then, now the ones in the center are close to being dry already, because I'm not putting it on very thick at all. I could probably put it on a little bit thicker than I am. You don't see it in the photos as well like you do glossy accents when you take a picture. You know, like to post pictures of your pages as you get them done, or on Instagram. I post mine on Instagram, the individual pages, and get more likes that way. People like the individual pages, you know what I mean? Instead of just putting, sometimes I'll put a few together where it's a flip through, but I notice that I forget to look for the little arrow that shows that there's more than one image. Like when you're looking at the picture on Instagram and there's a little arrow right there, that means there's more than one picture that you can scroll through. Personally, I forget to look for it. So I tend to post most of my images one at a time. Now if it's a page that has a picture of the page and then the page with the flap open and the page with the flap open and a card, you know, because it makes it look completely different each time, I will post those together. Okay, now we do these few at the bottom and then we'll let it dry. Then you wash your brush out with warm water. You might be able to use a little bit of soap or a little bit of brush cleaner. It does tend to, like Mod Podge, it'll get up in your brush and make your brush stiff. So don't use your favorite paintbrush. It's the mistake I made. I really like this one. Or I did. You can do this on a surface, like some kind of wax paper or something. And that's probably what I'll do for the little individual fairies and such. But it does take some time to do it, but the effect is really nice. Makes it look all satiny. Oh, I forgot to start my timer. There we go. Because we did the intro to the kit and all that, we're not going to have a full hour for this one. I looked and I realized I only had 10 videos set aside for this, and I'm not sure how much we're going to get done, but so there's that. And we're just going to set that off to the side to dry. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. You can see the sheen on them. It looks very nice. Alright, so I'm going to close this back up for now. I'm going to put my brush in the water. Kind of smush it around a little bit. Try to get some of the stuff out of it before I take it to the sink and wash it out. Shouldn't let your brushes soak very long, and you shouldn't let them soak past the metal part. You should keep the water shallower than the metal part. You only need to soak the brush itself, not the wood. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a little envelope stack. I'm thinking 2 small envelopes, 2 large envelopes, and 1 or 2 CD covers, and that's all. We're going to either put this on the cover or we're going to put it on page 1. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided what we're going to do on the cover. I was thinking of doing a nice image on the cover and then adding some flowers and lace and pearls. So we'll have to see. I got my green ribbon out as well. And I got my glossy accented butterflies out of my butterfly box. So we've got those. So on these 2, I'm thinking, because one's going to be in the very front. So I think I want it to be something brighter. I don't want the bugs. I think I might use this for the others. I think I'll probably use this for one of the envelopes. Remember, the CD envelope is going to have a large hole in the center. Maybe we could use this for the front. No, if I'm going to use something like that, I'm going to use the butterflies. And then it'll match the purple. So we'll do the 2 CD covers first. So we're probably going to have to print the backing papers more than once to get this done. I'm just telling you right now. Alright, let's put these envelopes to the side over here. I don't have enough room for my notebook. There we go. I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Alright, so let's cut our paper. And in fact, what about that side? I want to use this as the front. I was trying to see which side's going to be easier to draw on. I don't think it really matters. Now, if I can get 2 covers out of one page, I could do one like this and one like that. Yes, I should be able to. That'll save me that. Even though I'm not sure I want both of them to be butterflies. And in fact, these are the moths. I'm going to go back and get this. See, I had printed on the backs, so some of them are the same. Alright, so let's do this. Now remember, you're going to have papers for the front, the back, the inside, and then you're going to have a card. One of our cards is going to have a charm. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this off because that will hopefully give us the right size. Oh, do I want to do that? No, I don't. I want to cut this one first. Otherwise it won't come out right for getting the other cover on the same. Oh, we're not doing them on the same paper anyway, but still. So we got scrap paper already. Okay, and then we're going to have to ink the CD envelopes, and I think I'll do one in the green and one in the purple. But when you cut your paper, you want it to be where you have the largest scrap possible. It almost seems wrong. It's a little long. These from Amazon are not exactly, there we go. Okay, so we want one from this way. So this is going to be the top. No, this writing will be upside down if we do that. So let's mark the other one the top. And that will make our writing right side up. And then on this one, let's make sure about this one. Okay, and then this one's going to go this way. So let's go ahead and mark a top. That way also we know which side we're going to use, because we're not going to mark a T on the side we're going to use. Now in order to cut these, I'm going to cut them at the same time, I think. I'm going to put them on the envelopes first. No, I'm not. On the round one, she cut them first. Oh my goodness. I can see how this is going to go. I'm going to have to ink the envelopes. And then ink the papers. Oh, there it is. Keep these in the CD envelopes because then I can see what's inside. I'm just going to line these up together. I'm going to lay the circle down on there in the center, of course. Now this circle is a little bit smaller than the window, which is fine with me. This is 3-inch. I have a 4-inch one, which is closer to the size of the window itself. I think that moved. You can use washi. Since this is smaller than the window, we've got a little bit of leeway. Now, this is 65-pound cardstock. I cut my ephemera, my little fairies and such. Let me do this one more time. With using 110 cardstock so that it's heavier duty for the little fairies and such. Then we'll have these two circles to use for cards. Okay. So we'll set them in our ephemera box. And put this away. I keep my shapes together, and then I keep my, plants and tags and things like that. I keep those all sorted in a drawer as well, grouped together. I don't have a drawer that I can stand them up in. I wish I did. So now I'm going to ink everything. This is pretty dark. I don't think we'll see the ink on either one of these. So let's use the vintage photo on these. Well, I really don't want to. Let's try the lavender first, and if it isn't dark enough, then we're not going to see the envelopes really. We're just trying to knock the white off the edge of the paper. Now, when the timer goes off, we'll pick up where we left off in video 2. We just used up time doing other things. If you want to make it easier to ink the outside, you can ink it before you cut the hole in it. Whoops. Because then it's not so flimsy. I think I can see that a little bit. If I had a darker purple, I would use it. Well, I mean, I do have, what is it, vintage grape or whatever that is, Concord grape. That's a really dark purple. I love the color, but I think it's way too dark. See, the difference is we've got that white along here, and then now we've got the purple, so the white doesn't stand out. This covers the CD cover almost 100%, well, pretty much 100%. And we're going to have to ink one part of it again anyway, because We have to cut them off for the pocket. Okay, so on the back, I want one to be on the left. So this is going to be the left. This is going to be the top. That's going to be the right. This is going to be the left. And that may make a difference with the papers we put on the back. If you know what I mean. So now we've got this one inked. So let's use the purple to ink this envelope, or the dark dusty pink. And that way you won't be able to see the white on the edges of this either. Try to get the ink along here, depending on how much plastic there is, because you will see some of it. So try to go ahead and get ink on there. You'll definitely be able to notice this against any little, you know, like fairy ephemera, things like that. You'll be able to notice these two colors along the lighter edges of the fairies and things like that. You want to ink your fairies and your stuff that you're going to use your triple thick on. You're going to want to ink it after you use your triple thick. Just like Mod Podge or whatever. It's water-based. That's why you can clean your brush up with water. And that means also that it will react with your ink, because Distress ink, it reacts with water, and it will smear it. You also have to be careful to not get crazy with the triple thick on your printed paper as well. Usually I ink the whole front, it's just easier, but I almost forgot to do this, so. And we probably won't see it anyway. But I still like to be thorough. Okay. So now remember, this goes like this. The pattern goes like that on here. Let's make sure we did it the right way. We're going to trim this off for the pocket. Okay. And I'm going to wait because I want to, before I cut it, because I want to see if there's any little extra here or there that I need to trim off. You know, like maybe take more off on the side where I want the pocket to be, which I think is what I'm going to have to do on here. Okay, now I'm just going to trim this little edge off. We're going to have a side pocket. Then I think my timer's going to go off. We have 3 minutes. There we go. And then we will be able to see that a little bit, so we will need to hit that with the ink one more time. I could have waited to do that side, but and then I'm going to go have an omelet. Nummy. It's 8:45, 10 to 9. I'm gonna take my medicine and have an omelet. Okay, so there's the front done. The back is just a square. You can go ahead and put the back on and then set it aside ready to go. And I'm going to actually do this. Because once we put the paper on the back, then we won't know which one's left or right. Okay, so now you can go ahead and ink and glue this on, and then you can paper the backs of the CDs. And then if you're comfortable doing it, go ahead and paper the inside and put the card. What I'll do is I'll paper the inside and do the card on one, and then we'll do the other one on camera, and then we'll go forward with our envelope stack. Okay? Alright, well that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.